Welcome to Basically Sci-Fi, the short story podcast with stories you can basically call sci-fi. I'm Adam.
I'm Jared.
And I'm Todd.
Good morning, gentlemen. And good afternoon, Jared.
Evening at this point, but it's 8 o'clock.
Good evening, good night. Good night, sweet prince.
You had that time shift. What do you even call it anymore? The
Daylight savings.
Daylight savings. Ugh.
I think it's called the time warp.
Now it's earlier than we would have been recording. Usually we record at 9.
Why do we... Well, we don't do it anymore, but why do the U.S. do the time skip now?
Why do they do that?
Why do they be that way?
For a long time, I'd heard the thing about farmers and whatnot, but then recently I heard it wasn't actually about that, and then I forgot what it was because I didn't really care.
Yeah, that sounds about like the explanation I was going to give.
The farmer stuff? I've also heard a thing about the farmers, something about like Benjamin Franklin saying it's better to fucking do some bullshit. I remember him being tied to it somehow. I think at this point it's just obstinance.
And that's why everyone throughout history has always hated Benjamin Franklin.
And also why we should have abstinence-only sex education.
Just say maybe.
Yeah.
Well, this week, it is my first episode coming out of our joint collaboration, and I wanted to do a little recap for the listeners so that they could get back up to speed for the story of Buck and Mac and all the Froggos.
I'm definitely trying to get back into speed.
Yeah, back into speed. And so, you remember, let's see, where we last left off. So Buck's an anti-vaxxer.
Right.
I think that...
That's important information.
And also Sasquatch.
Timely.
Timeless. It's timeless. That's literally going to be a thing forever now. Buck studied English in university, which turned out to be worthless because, everyone in the galaxy has translator implants in their ears so that they can automatically, understand any language they hear.
Right.
You remember, I don't know if you remember, but the big T-posing guy smashed the planet that they were going to get Buck his, work hours signed on. And Freddy was going to go to the big beast.
Yeah, and Buck was not into that.
Buck was not into that, no, he wasn't. And before that, Buck was stuck on a frog planet with the frogs, and Mac was on Earth working in a convenience store, and Freddy was on his Cheeto dust planet covered in Cheeto dust with Kronk. But now, they're all together with Captain Dirk.
Nice.
Right.
Yep. Is there anything that you've forgotten that you might want me to tell you about? I guess you wouldn't really know the thing.
I forgot about it.
Is there anything that I think that I forgot?
Tell me what you forgot.
The one pirate that looks like Goofy is not the one in the gimp suit, right?
No.
Where they're all in gimp suits.
Goose looks like Goofy, and Ripper is in the gimp suit.
Oh, okay. I feel like I knew that Goofy wasn't in the gimp suit, or Goose. I'm sorry. Goose.
Goose is the pilot.
Right. Oh, okay. So you've got multiple characters on the pirate crew, like, fleshed out, at least in your head.
Yes.
Even if they haven't been in the story yet.
Yeah. Well, Goose...
That's cool.
Goose was actually in the story. Let's see. Where is it? Right before they jumped to the Star Tropics.
Yeah, no, of course. I remember they were talking with him recently.
Yeah.
And,
Hey, here's the line. Beautiful as they were, the asteroids made it extremely difficult for a ship of their size to reach the Star Tropics. It was technically possible, though, and to Buck's surprise, Goose, the brilliant fellow with long ears and a green hat, was a top-notch pilot.
No, I remember how the Star Tropics is a scam where people normally get dinged by meteors and then have to pay for repairs there. I liked that.
It's not a scam. It's free. It's free to park, but you're gonna get dinged.
Yeah, and I remember that in my story about Buck's mom, I really wanted to set up the Star Tropics as being pretty much a criminal enterprise. So I like that.
I really love the idea of the Star Tropics. It's just so much fun.
Well, Anyway, I think we recapped a bit, yeah?
Alright, so we're all up to speed, and we're going to jump on in as soon as I scroll down enough and find where I left off.
Excellent.
Yes. Here we go. Asteroids spin through the void, colliding and splattering into dust. Many more wheel freely about, lucky not to be ground into dust. These asteroids circle a star, as many asteroids do in the galaxy. This beautiful star, sputtering pink and orange and red, is known by many who have visited the star tropics. And that's where we find our crew. In the waiting room of the Chop Shop in the star tropics, Dirk, Freddy, and Kronk waited by the door as Mac, Buck, and Arlo were taken care of by various robots. The titular Mr. Chop, after whom the shop was named, paced around the medical beds they were strapped to, furiously tapping away at his touchpad. Sweat beaded up on his ginormous brow. Wisps of his hair and skin flakes dusted up as his fingers tapped away. The great air handler in the ceiling sucked it all away, real hygienic-like. Buck woke on a cold metal slab, his furry body covered in sweat. A biped with a huge bulbous head and wispy hair loomed over him. There was an old-timey doctor's ring mirror strapped to its forehead. He had a big nose and a bushy mustache and a weak chin. Dr. Chop?
The doctor from Boku no Hero.
Dr. Chop, he said in a weak voice. Mr. Chop, please, Chop said. I never passed my, and he made some air quotes, medical exam. Do you at least do your own research, Buck said. What? Mr. Chop said, brandishing a huge syringe. I think it's time for sleep, boyo. Everything faded to black for Buck, again.
Oh, God.
Coming to, Buck sat up. Time skip. He blinked his eyes, and there was a faint velvety neon blue tint that faded in a moment. Buck wobbled forward off towards the door. Thanks again for taking care of our men. One of them was a bit behind the times, if you catch my drift, Dirk said. Oh-ho! I went ahead and updated his firmware, and all for you. Good as new, Mr. Chop said. Buck moaned.
Oh, God.
Stumbling towards the door.
They vaccinated him against his will.
I see.
I'm not against that.
Thanks, Doc.
Not against that.
We'll be around for a while, so if you need anything, give us a call. Maybe we can, work something out, Dirk said, holding out a business card. That's quite all right. Cash is fine by me. I don't need favors. Also, legally, it's Mr. Chop.
The doctor mirror is probably what's throwing him off.
Yeah. Congratulations on joining modern society, Buck. How do you feel? Goose asked. Ripper, Freddy, Kronk, Mac, and Arlo and the rest had decided to wait for Buck outside the shop in the corridor. A little woozy and so hungry, Buck said. Everything seems a lot brighter now. Whoa, what's this? He waved his hand through a floating pink neon sign. It scattered into pixels when he touched it. He couldn't feel it when he touched it, though.
Ooh.
You can see the pop-up ads now, Freddy said. Weren't you just going in for a vaccine? I ain't never heard of vaccines giving you 6G connectivity. Ripper grunted through his ball gag.
What?
In response.
Wait, was he the one that just said the thing about the vaccine?
No, Freddy said it, and then Ripper grunted.
Oh, okay.
He just grunts.
All right.
I told y'all this was a bad idea, Buck started, but a guide interrupted. He gave them a translator implant and AR glasses, grafted to his eyes, Dirk said, leaving the chop shop and joining them in the corridor. He looked sadly at his wallet for a moment, and then put it away. Seeing as we're all here now, what do you say we get a bite to eat? And then they walked along the space-side corridor, which ran the length of the asteroid. Dotted here and there were market stalls set up between big cannon batteries built into the space-side wall of the station. They looked pretty dusty to Mac. At least as much of them as he could see looked dusty. He'd have to do something about all the pop-up ads later. For now, it was all he could do, to swipe them away as soon as they activated. It seemed every shop along the corridor had one as they passed by. Whoa, chili dogs! Buck shouted. Mac could see it too now, a pop-up ad for a hot dog stand just loaded. Buck, are you reading each and every ad you see? Mac asked, hoping the answer was no. What madman actually read pop-up ads? Yeah, Buck replied. Some of these are very cool. Look, I've been keeping some of them for later. I've collected this one for chili dogs just now. And I got this one about a new business proposition. And then, and this one's about hot MILFs in my area. Could you believe that? In my area. Right, Mac said, apprehensive. He didn't know if these could give you a virus like they did back on Earth's internet. Could you keylog someone's brain? Dox someone's eyeballs? Someone said chili dogs? Freddy chimed in. I fucking love chili. And the group came to the collective decision that, well, chili dogs were the shit, and what red-blooded spacer didn't love them? Buck made sure to be first in line to get his big furry mitts on one of them before anyone else. When he got to the front, a little old man with a great big bushy beard looked up at him from behind a pushcart stand. What'll it be, Sonny? 2 chili dogs, and he dropped his voice down to a whisper. And a cup of hot dog water. Real discreet, please. The old man gave Buck a look that said, I disapprove of your lifestyle choice, but I'm keeping it to myself. Money was money after all, even when it was buying hot dog water. Buck quickly chugged the lukewarm hot dog water before the others noticed. At least he hoped they hadn't noticed. We all have guilty pleasures, all right? Mac watched in horror as Freddy ate 10 hot dogs, whole, one by one, dropping them into his gaping maw. The rest of the crew tucked into the hot dogs like normal fucking people. There was a rumble. Buck gripped his stomach. That must have been bad hot dog water. Oh, Space Jesus. You feeling all right, Buck? Captain Dirk asked. There's a lot of sweat in your forehead hair. Buck tried to smile. Yeah, doing just fine. Hey, boss, I'm gonna go wash my hands in the bathroom over there real quick. I'll just be a second. And he started walking calmly over to the gun battery nearest the hot dog guy. There was a bathroom built in an alcove adjacent to the gun. In times of peace, it was just a bathroom. In times of war, it was also a bathroom. He started running a little as he got closer to it. The captain gave a sigh. Arlo, could you keep an eye on Buck? Aye, the froggy boy shouted, and the captain winced. A skosh too loud, buckaroo. Sorry. Aye, he said in a whisper, and he bounded off towards the bathroom with his gangly frog legs. Mac marveled at the beauty of the sunset sun through the 3-story tall space-class window. He'd noticed the space station's gun batteries were always accompanied by bathrooms on one side and giant windows on the other. He pondered on the utility of the combination, and he waved another pop-up ad away. Mac felt a rumble. It wasn't his stomach this time. The whole station was rumbling. The people milling about in the atrium near the window all looked around. He heard someone scream. The very fabric of space around them shook. The auto-gravity of the station deactivated, and the lights went out. The shapes of people slowly floating up into the air were lit by red emergency lights of the station and the dim sunset glare of the sunset sun. They flailed wildly to grab onto something, anything nearby. The station shuddered again, and something went clunk. The lighting came back on and everyone dropped back to the floor as the auto-gravity re-engaged. Mac stared in horror at the looming shape drifting towards the station, backlit by the sun. Captain, we got a problem! What is that? Freddy asked. I'd know that ominous T-pose anywhere, the old hot dog vendor said, crawling out from under his overturned pushcart.
That's going to be an important character.
Old hot dogs lay scattered around him. Rising to his feet, he walked up to the window and leaned against it with both hands, breathing heavy. Well, goddammit, man, what is it? Don't be so dramatic, Captain Dirk shouted impatiently. Every minute the T-pose drifted closer and closer. It's a Ruski biotech weapon, the old man said. What's a Ruski? Freddy said, wiping hot dog mess off of his hands. Kids these days don't remember the Ruskis, but I do. I remember seeing glyphs of them scrawled on temple ruins in the Ceresia system. The old man went on. I've never seen one of these big boys in person, though. The Ruski Empire was said to have fallen apart thousands of years ago. But just a bunch of old stone monuments are left now. The History Channel had a special on them a few weeks ago. You don't watch TV? Ruski. Database query. Return. It is said, little is known of the Ruskis, as their pictogram language is nearly impossible to translate. Kronk chimed in. As the Ruski Smasher was less than a light minute away from the station, it reached out and grabbed a handful of asteroids and flung them at the space station. Captain Dirk readjusted the waist belt on his fluffy pink bathrobe and lifted his cane into the air. All right, boys, the powwow is over. Get to the gun! That fucking thing isn't getting anywhere near the star tropics. They made a mad dash for the gun battery. Surprisingly, no one else had thought of that first. Dirk blasted the lock on the door open with his cane gun and kicked the door open. The gun battery was a rounded shape built into the wall of the atrium. On the inside, it had one huge cannon protruding out of the hull into space. There was a targeting computer, a power calibrating station, and a joystick for manual aiming, all covered in dust and cobwebs. Dirk hopped into the aiming chair and began shouting orders. Kronk plugged into the targeting computer, and Freddy smashed the buttons and levers. No, he smashed the buttons and pulled the levers, not smashing levers. Freddy smashed the buttons and pulled the levers at the power station. The lights in the atrium dimmed a little as the battery system warmed up. We might only get 1 or 2 shots, boys. So, Kronk, Freddy, take Mac and Ripper and Goose down to the next battery and power her up too. I'll take care of this battery myself, Dirk said, and he threw Freddy his cane gun. You might need this. Now, go!
Oh, damn.
Oh, be careful, Captain, Goose said over his shoulder as the crew ran out of the door and down to the next gun battery. To be continued.
Oh, shit. I mean, why is it falling on them to defend the Star Tropics?
Oh, because, they don't have I imagine the Star Tropics are like a collective of disorganized groups inhabiting a bunch of asteroids that have been kind of chained together with architecture.
Right.
So I don't know, I feel like there wouldn't be any real organized response to this kind of thing. And the weapons are so dusty is a hint.
Yeah, sure. They're not being used. I get that, but yeah.
I mean, it's mostly full of tourists now, the Star Tropics.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. Very, very Mass Effect.
Yeah.
We got Proteans and unreadable glyphs. Protheans. It's a silent H.
It's a silent H.
Like in herb.
Or in what?
That one's not silent. It's pronounced what?
Oh, what? Anyway. What do you guys think?
Anyway.
Are you excited to hear what happens next week?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Because, I'm not trying to call my shots here, but I have outlined here 4 more episodes, and that's the conclusion. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, very action packed. I was into the action. It felt very tense, but still there were funny bits.
Oh yeah, Buck being in the toilet
I was
while
chuckling.
the gravity fucking disengages.
Yeah. I'm deeply distressed by all the pop-ups. I do,
Yeah, when we have AR, it's just gonna be all fucking pop-ups and ads.
Yeah.
I'm wondering there's gotta be some benefit to him having permanent AR glasses now later on in the story, or else you've just crippled the poor boy.
No, all people walk through life like this in this universe. Arlo, Buck, and Mac all got them.
But there's gotta be something else to it besides just getting pop-ups, otherwise they wouldn't think they had to get the glasses on him.
You'll see.
Okay. Because right now I'm just what a horrible existence.
Yeah.
It's your commercial overlords desire you to see their ads at all times.
I thought this was a socialist paradise where everyone got they're a free ship.
Hot MILFs in your area, my man.
Okay.
Constant ads for that. You Google porn once and then it's just that for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Because right now, I know I got old people, but I don't know that I got MILFs.
Funny to see you got your space Russians in there.
Yeah. You've been talking about Russians for a long time.
Lobbying for those big time on the joint episodes we did.
Oh yeah, I lobbied really hard for the space Ruskies, and you guys didn't like it, so I did it myself.
No. There you go.
Although I'm sitting here wondering if they are Russians or if they are Ruskies, which is a thing in your universe, which is not actually Russian.
Yeah, it's a thing in my universe. It's not actually Russians. It just so happens to be that is the word that we use in our
All right,
universe.
no, they're Reavers. They're just...
Makes it more palatable to build up stereotypes when they're not technically the people you're making fun of.
With their unreadable language.
Horrible, unreadable language.
The fact that it looks so much like our Roman alphabet. It's freaking...
Just all capital letters.
Taunting us.
I did a little bit of research on why we have capital letters in English, and it turns out capital scripts were originally, shit carved into stone was all capital, right? Because it's easier. They have less curves and stuff. And then lowercase is what you usually wrote. And then it took until the Carolingian time period. I forget when that is. But it's called Carolingian script, where people started capitalizing important words. For example, German still does this, where they capitalize the first letter of every noun, regardless of it being a proper or, I guess, improper or whatever noun. But yeah, they capitalize all nouns. Just the first letter though.
Uh,
But English started, people thought that was fucking obnoxious, and so people in English started capitalizing only proper nouns and the first letter of
We don't want to learn what nouns are. We're English.
But yeah, I thought that was really interesting.
I remember talking to some jerk who wrote in all caps all the time because they're like, that's the way the original Bible was written.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it would have been, actually.
And I'm like,
Early print.
not your King James version that you're reading anyway, but
The first printing presses would have used that kind of stuff because it'd be easier to carve it. Less curves.
anyway. Well, confirmed.
Just makes him a jackass, though.
Capital letters are for jerks.
Yeah.
And Jesus.
And Jesus.
And Ruth.
Fucking space Jesus, help.
Yeah,
In the universe now.
you have space Jesus. That's a thing now.
There you go.
Yep. Thanks for listening to my story this week, and I hope you're excited to hear the end. I'm excited for the end.
I am excited. I mean, we just got all the gang together, and now the end is coming up?
Yeah, it's like the Avengers. You get them together, and then the movie's over.
Get them together so they can finish on each other, with each other.
Woo!
Right. Man, these prepositions, we are struggling with them today.
Why do it be so hard to speak the English?
I don't know. Good thing it is, though, or else I'd be out of a job.
Yeah. All right. Thank
y'all. Very action-packed. Thank you.
Thank y'all for enjoying it.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Smash that notification button. Enjoy the rest of our content. Mail me some money in the mail. Get my Venmo. Anything, any little bit helps. Buy me some stock. That'd be really nice. Jeff Bezos, if you're listening, just fucking, I don't know, come to my house. And yeah. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.